This guy got so triggered when I told him that the US dollar is gonna collapse and the US is obviously in decline. He got so triggered, he made a video about me. Do you guys not see that US dollar is in so much trouble right now with the BRICS coming out, right? Do you not see US is in decline? So obvious. Here, I'll prove it to you in one simple picture. One picture. Are you ready? Here you go. Do you need any more proof? Any more proof that the US is in decline right now and the US dollar is in so much trouble, it's gonna collapse. Look at this. Remember his debate? It was like, the guy who's running America right now, right? It doesn't even have a president, right? Some BlackRock dudes are pulling the strings from behind him, and they think, yeah, the US is still coasting, it's gonna be fine, still gonna be a superpower. No, I'm not, pro-Trump or anti-Biden or whatever. And this guy, what about this guy? He's gonna be president next, right? Has he said one single fact in the whole debate? It was all a lie. Everything he said, almost everything he said, if you fact check it, is a lie, right? He says hyperbole stuff like, under me, the economy was the best ever, right? What's the criterion for that? What, low inflation, high jobs, high growth? What the new technologies? How do you even define that? It's one guy keeps on lying and one guy keeps on falling asleep. That's where America's headed. And one of them is going to lead America into the next 4 years. And now back to this video. This from Gio Husar, this guy, right? I told him that US is going down, not from me, but from actual US historians, famous guys, Neil Howe and William Strauss, who wrote the world famous The Fourth Turning, because they're saying the US is headed into the fourth turning, not from me, from famous US historians, right? The first fourth turning is the Revolutionary War, which created America. The second one is Civil War, right, which like 500,000 people died in that war, right? We all remember this. And the third one was the Great Depression. Wow, remember that? And that led to World War II. How many millions of people died in that one? And fourth one is coming up because there is do the math. It's about 80 years in between each of them. It just, the world goes in cycles. Everything goes in cycles. It's like the stock market. It's not exact, but it goes in cycles. The next big one is somewhere around 2024 to 2028 in that area, right? And this guy keeps on debating as if that's not going to happen, as if America is going to be great forever. Are you kidding me, buddy? And for all the Americans and Europeans who don't know anything about history, here is a simple lesson on how umpires actually work, right? For ease of comparison, we're using China because China has this long series of recorded history and you can tell exactly what happened and when it went up and went down and went up and then went down again. And it's so obvious to see countries or empires like China went through these major ups and declines, declines, just like the rise and fall of the tide. It's like everything that happens in nature, unless you're, of course, American and you're going through your first major rise, and you don't think there's ever going to be a decline. It's the law of gravity, buddy. It's the law of nature, law of the universe. So basically, you can see the dates here. Each one of these rise and falls lasts, right, about 250 years. Each one of these Tang Dynasty, Song Dynasty, right? Yuan was short. That was the Mongolian Genghis Khan invasion, right? Ming Dynasty, about 250 years. Qin Dynasty, about 250 years. And now China is on the rise again, right? I'm not trying to say this to trigger people, right? To say, what's going to happen between China and US. I'm just pointing out this is what happens to every empire in the world. Name me one that has only gone up and never pulled back, right? So, and they last about 250 years. How many years has US formed as a nation now? Well, the war that George Washington won was 1776. 1776. So next year would be 249 years, right? And the average here is 250. Although, US can go easily way over the average. That's not the point. The point is, this is a graph of the relative standing of Chinese empire, right, as a superpower. And we can see clearly it goes up and down. It's cyclical. And it'll go up and it'll go down again, right? But these empires usually last around roughly 250 years. It can be short, like the Yuan dynasty, or it can be slightly longer, like the Song dynasty. That's just a simple fact of life, of nature. And if we graph all the countries together, this is so obvious right now, right? The red one's China, up and down, right? This black one, for example, that's United Kingdom. England, right, became up, down, became a great power, now down again, right? And the blue one, you can check out, these other countries and other colors for itself. But US, as I said, right, this blue one up and now easily headed down. And basically, it's 250-year cycle. You cannot escape it. No country has, unless you think US is somehow more special, right? And this is, again, not from me. It's not from me. It's not from me. This is from Ray Dalio. Do you know who Ray Dalio is? That is the most successful, right, hedge fund manager in the US, right? Billionaire investor Ray Dalio. He warns US is on the brink, right? He says, estimates 1 in 3 chance of a civil war. What's that? That's the fourth turning, buddy. Right? Remember this chart, the fourth turning, right? The Revolutionary War that created America, then the Civil War, then World War III, right? 80 years in between, and now back here to possibly another Civil War, or maybe World War III. One of those, right? Something pretty bad is going to happen, not just to the US, but also to the world as well. And that's my warning to all of you guys. And his way to argue that the US dollar is not in decline, that the US is not going down, is by quoting academics and economists, people like Paul Krugman, right? I mean, I'm quoting you actual billionaires who actually make billions from trading decisions, right, that matter, and yet he's showing me academics. So let's take Paul Krugman, for example. Krugman is the guy who wrote for New York Times saying that he recently spent time with Biden, and I can tell you that he's in full possession of his faculties and completely lucid and excellent grasp of details. The guy is completely a fraud. And once again, this is not me. It's not me saying this. These are American patriots, your best patriots. Jeffrey Gundlach, he says, yes, Mr. Neil Howe, the fourth turning is here. And he lists the reasons. Who is Jeffrey Gundlach? Jeffrey Gundlach is the bond king of America, of Wall Street. He's the king of bonds, of US Treasury bonds. Think about that for a second. You know how everyone talks about, all these American economists talk about US owes 35 trillion US dollars in debt, and it's never going to be able to pay it back, right? Why would you ever buy US government bonds? You should buy gold or Bitcoin. Well, he's the guy who's buying all those bonds. He's the bond king, Jeffrey Gundlach, and he warns US economy is going to end up in recession in the next few years or whatever, right? These are true American patriots. Ray Dalio, right? American hedge fund billionaire. Bond king Jeffrey Gundlach, right? Warning, this is going to happen. I'll show you 2 more people you would believe in, American greats who believe in this. And this is the largest hedge fund manager in the world, right? BlackRock CEO, needs no introduction. Larry Fink, right? Some say he runs the US government, right? He says crypto or Bitcoin will transcend any one currency. Well, he doesn't care about any other currency. He only cares about the one currency, and that's the US dollar. And he says Bitcoin crypto is going to transcend all of that, right? So which means even he doesn't have confidence in the US dollar anymore. You need more evidence? Let's look at your own president, right? And the guy who's about to become the next president of the United States. He called Bitcoin a scam against the US dollar. This was back in 2021, and he did that before when he still believed in the US. He still wanted to save the US dollar, and he called Bitcoin a scam. But what is he doing now? Now he's flipped from being a Bitcoin skeptic, calling it a scam, to saying he will now become the crypto president. Haven't you been following the news? Even these guys, true American presidents, American patriots, right? The bond king of Wall Street, of America, the presidents, even they don't believe in the US dollar anymore, and they think US is possibly in decline, and the US dollar needs a life raft, something to get off on. Most umpires only last about 250 years on average, and these are America's presidents and hedge fund billionaires and patriots warning that US, something serious is going to happen in the next 4 years or so. And this is my warning to you to get ready, get ready.